over the years, I've learned that when the system breaks, 9 times out of 10, nurses are usually the ones to feel it first. And I say that respectfully. This isn't to downplay any other field within the government that you may be working in, but from my perspective, nurses seem to feel it first. And for all you nurses that talk about, it's not about the money, it's not about the money, how about you go talk to those nurses that are working for free today? I ran across the post on TikTok of this labor and delivery nurse who's working for free. And the kicker is they might not even give her back pay, according to her. And she has 4 children. Her husband also works for the government, and he's not getting paid. So for all you nurses out there that are saying, it's not about the money. Yes, it's always been about the money. And if you don't see that, then you're blind. But it's always been about the money. And if you don't, how about y'all give y'all checks to those nurses that are working for free and tell me how much it's not about the money then. So anyway, but yeah, I wanted to talk about this shutdown because right now we are in the talks of having another one. And a lot of people are looking at it like it's just politics. But for a lot of us nurses, it's real life. It's real life. It's not just politics. It's not just something to talk about on CNN or Fox News or whatever channel you subscribe to. This is actually real life. And I want to talk about what government shutdown means. So if you see me looking back and forth, it's because I took notes on this and because I didn't want to miss nothing because I felt like this is a very important video. So what does it mean? It means delayed paychecks. It means programs we depend on getting frozen. It means that patients fall through the cracks. And guess who are the ones holding it together? You guessed it. The nurses, the CNAs, doctors, people in those medical roles. And let's talk about what that actually means when it comes to financial, when it comes to mental, when it comes to professional, because people have been ignoring this conversation for way too long. And what better time to talk about it other than now? So let me give you a Cliff Notes version of what a government shutdown is. A government shutdown happens when Congress can't agree on how to fund federal programs. That's a very Cliff Note version of what it is. And what happens is non-essential government services stop, and even essential services get hit really hard. You got public health agencies like the CDC, the NIH, and VA. They start cutting staff. They start furloughing. They start doing all the stuff necessary to save money. Nursing home inspections stop, or they pause, rather. Community clinics lose funding, and nurses literally get told, you're essential, so you have to show up. But you may not get paid on time. Now, can you imagine being told that you may not get paid on time when you got rent due, you got bills due, you got them expensive car notes that y'all love to drive, you got that due, and you may not get paid. That's wild. And if you're a nurse in a federal facility like the VA or public health, you could be asked to keep working until things work out. What do you do in situations like that? I know I couldn't do it. And I've thought about working for the VA because government benefits are great, but I could not imagine working for free. That's crazy. I mean, if you work in a nursing home and surveyors and regulators might stop inspections, can you imagine the chaos that could happen with that? Oh boy, you will have a whole bunch of unsafe facilities that are slipping through. And y'all know that these nursing homes are not the greatest places to begin with. But when you stop inspections and surveys and all that kind of stuff due to a government shutdown, boy, everybody is in danger, including the workers, because you don't want to work in a dangerous situation. So that's crazy. And then you got to think about the hospitals that rely on Medicare and Medicaid reimbursements. They start feeling it. They start feeling the pressure because those payments can slow down. Oh, but it's not about the paper. It's not about the paper. And then that's when overtime gets cut. Supplies start running low. And everybody's stressed out. Everybody's stressed out. And that's not good for nobody involved. You got stressed out nurses, you're going to have stressed out patients, and they're not going to get the adequate care. Nurses are strung out and start losing licenses and becoming desperate. It just can trickle down to a whole bunch of chaos. And people be like, oh, CJ, you're fear-mongering. Yeah, I had a comment the other day that said I was fear-mongering because a patient had squirted HIV positive blood on 2 healthcare workers. How is that fear mongering when it was the truth and that's what happened? And that's what, at least that was reported. So I'm just reporting the news. That's not fear mongering. I'm telling nurses to be careful. And yeah, but anyway, the truth is the system will always make sure that the politicians get paid. And look, y'all know I'm not a political channel. I really don't talk about that kind of stuff. I usually only talk about it when it comes to like nurses and how nurses get directly affected. And but what about the frontline workers? What about the frontline workers? They get the uncertainty. You know, working in psych, I've seen a toll that stressors like that can have on a person. I put out a video like that yesterday, and it could cause a person to break. And just like I told y'all, I've talked to doctors, I've talked to lawyers, I've talked to nurses who they all had it together, and they had money, they had homes, and they had stability until life hit them hard. Now think about the people who don't have all the luxuries that those people had, who don't have all the privileges that those people had. Now you're giving them this, and they wonder why the mental health crisis is what it is right now. And I don't want to sound like a whatever, but I mean, you'd be surprised how fast somebody's mental health can crumble when the pressure keeps building. And the safety net is gone. I couldn't imagine. I could not imagine. But I'm going to have to hustle because I will have to do what I had to do. But I don't know, bro. The government shutdown might not mean much to the average person, but to a single mom that's a nurse, that's trying to feed her kids, trying to pay rent, it's everything. Single dad. That's trying to pay rent and everything like that. It's everything. And when that stress carries into the workplace, the patients suffer. Passion fatigue gets worse. And mistakes happen. The morale drops. All kind of stuff happens. So you got to be careful when you out here and you trying to make something happen because, yeah, everything drops. I can only imagine being a sick patient that has to work among nurses that are not getting paid. Y'all already don't like nurses. So could you imagine dealing with pissed off nurses that are not getting paid? You don't like them now? Well, imagine. Imagine what'll happen then. But I've learned that this is a career field where you have to adapt. You have to adapt. You have to have a plan. You have to save money. You cannot depend on the system to save you. You got to save yourself. That means having a savings account for emergencies. That means learning an extra skill. Learning how to become independent as a nurse. Because at any given moment, things can get taken away from you. Shutdowns can happen, strikes, layoffs. Income could be frozen overnight. So it's important to know how to do more than one thing. As I said before, this is my second career. I was a truck driver before. So I have truck driving to fall back on. And me, I have a lot of stuff I can fall back on because I'm willing to do and learn certain things. So nurses better learn how to adapt, especially like you new nurses and you new grad nurses. This is why I'm not so quick to quit a job all willy-nilly, because you just never know what could happen. And, you know, a lot of people are having a difficult time finding a job right now. And I'm thankful to be where I am. I'm really thankful. And I'm not so quick to quit a job because I'm a little uncomfortable. Now, if I'm getting disrespected and if I feel like I'm in danger, then that's one thing. But some people quit jobs because they ran out of dish soap that day in a dispensary. People quit jobs over the silliest stuff. And then they'll talk about, well, I ain't got no money. I'm broke. Can you donate to my PayPal, my TikTok, my Cash App, all that kind of stuff. And I tell nurses all the time, don't just work your job. Work your way out of needing that paycheck. Out of not needing that paycheck. Work your way out of not needing it and not relying on it. Side hustles, all kind of stuff. Start your YouTube page. Anything that's going to bring in another stream of income. Because just depending on one stream of income does not seem like it's enough anymore. And look, don't get me wrong, nursing is pretty solid when it comes to job security, but it can happen. And I know it's hard. You show up, you're tired, you're emotionally drained, and you still got to do your best. But this government shutdown is definitely a reminder, though. It's a reminder that the world does not stop for nurses, even though we keep it running. Ooh, that's a bar. That's a bar. That's a bar. And don't ever let your government or your job put you in a position where your whole life depends on one source of income. Because you will have situations where they won't be pretty, and when things are not pretty, people get desperate. So, if you are a nurse, if you are a CNA and you are working in healthcare, stay alert. I wouldn't panic too much, but just stay alert. It's just the reality that we live in. So do what you got to do. Learn some extra skills. Get you a side hustle. And go out here and be ready to compete. And do your best. Keep God first. So anyway, let me know what you all think in the comments. Let's continue the conversation. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we got popping off here on the channel. My name is CJ, aka the High Value Nurse, checking in once again, back with another video. And until next time, I bid you adieu. Get paid. Young nurse, get paid. Peace.